Vince McMahon returned to WWE earlier this year to facilitate a sale of the company. However, some WWE talent and staff are now thinking that Vince McMahon is more involved with the creative process of WWE television than was previously first thought. Speaking of the sale, we've got more updates on sale talks picking up after WrestleMania takes place this coming weekend. Does Triple H and Brock Lesnar have heat over Brock Lesnar's changing WrestleMania plans? We've got details on that. Plus, Logan Paul says his WWE contract is set to expire after WrestleMania 39 later on this week. Roxanne Perez has been added to the standard deliver ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship after being medically cleared last night on NXT. An update on the new WWE Title Belt coming to television soon. Alexa Bliss gives an update on her return status. Could Goldberg have his retirement match in Israel? We've got details on a surprising pitch made to the Hall of Famer. Johnny Gargano attacks Grayson Waller last night on NXT. Rey Mysterio also gives an update on his in-ring future. Carmella has disappeared from WWE television, but why? We've got details on that, plus an update on the WrestleMania schedule and musical acts that will be appearing at the event. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment, and one of the biggest stories in WWE, of course, is the sale of the entire company and Vince McMahon's status and mystery and intrigue surrounding what he's doing in WWE right now. Now, a really interesting article comes from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, who says that those in the company that Fightful have spoken to say they expect, quote, business to pick up in April, specifically after WrestleMania. Fightful have been told by several in WWE that having WrestleMania in Los Angeles around the time of a potential sale and rights fee renewals was a positive strategic situation for the company. While a CNBC analyst said that Comcast is out on a potential WWE sale, Fightful had spoken with sources at Comcast with knowledge of the product. It was widely accepted that even though Comcast, via USA Network and NBC, have had a long relationship with Vince McMahon, that there would be no desire from their end to keep him involved in the company if indeed they were to purchase it. There are actually numerous sources related to rumored buyers who actually said that Stephanie McMahon could be a desired return if indeed they purchase World Wrestling Entertainment. One source at Disney reportedly said these companies are doing their due diligence. They're following the news cycles regardless of their public levels of interest. They're aware of the things that would make audiences and staff happy. She seemed to bring a lot of positive to the company. The company's progression under Nick Khan was also played up. One of the prevalent feelings is that WWE has had effective teams in place and that an acquisition would come as a major shot in the arm for whatever connected streaming service is involved. WWE has rights fees for Raw, SmackDown, premium live events, and more coming up almost exactly at the same time. It's worth noting that both to higher-ups in WWE and those close to him personally, Vince McMahon has claimed that he would be interested in a sale that didn't involve him staying with the company. McMahon has also downplayed rumors of influence on creative to claim those close to him that he is back to either sell the company or oversee rights fee negotiations. Virtually every source connected with the company that has been rumored to have interest was in full agreement that if McMahon demanded to remain involved, it would negatively affect the sale price, leverage, and value of the brand moving forward. Think of that. What a wild situation. Vince McMahon's actively looking to sell the company. At the same time, he could be involved in creative, but he's hiding it because he knows his reputation is so bad at this point with all of the accusations made against him, it would actually cost him money and make the company seem less valuable or less desirable to purchase. However, when it comes to the creative process in WWE recently, according to several talent and staff, there have been several red flags for talent and producers alike in WWE. Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful have reported recently that there were concerns among talent that Vince McMahon could have a bigger hand in the creative than has been let on. WWE representatives have vehemently denied that McMahon is involved, and McMahon has claimed to those close to him that he's there to oversee either new television rights, a sale, or both. However, there have been some red flags that have caused more concern for talent. Talent have noted that there are a lot more rewrites the day of the show than usual under the Triple H regime. There have also been some strong indicators of characters and gimmicks being adjusted to a manner in which Vince McMahon had previously preferred, that were relaxed or changed when Triple H took control. Some of these things have had an impact on morale, i.e. morale is dipping because of it. Talent have also mentioned that there has been extensive creative laid out that was adjusted at the last minute, which again was something that would happen very, very often. Rewrites and creative changing was pretty much a staple of the Vince McMahon regime. However, no talent that Fightful have heard from has outright been told that Vince is involved beyond giving just input, which is something that Triple H had said previously, that he and McMahon would have conversations and McMahon would make suggestions, but Triple H had the final call. Now, Fightful have had constant information sent nearly weekly about a Vince's office sign being backstage in WWE at tapings. However, that was a sign that contains numerous directions of backstage locations that wasn't updated upon McMahon's departure. That Vince's office thing has been there since Vince left and throughout the entirety of the time in which he was away and retired. So that's just something that hasn't been changed or updated. It should also be noted that creative is also insistent they've had no contact with Vince McMahon directly and haven't been told that any changes were from McMahon himself. When McMahon appeared, infamously with the mustache, in Boston at the episode of Raw in March, some claim that he stayed out of the way. However, talent were quick to note that he was in the gorilla position all night, where the performers saw him before walking out and upon coming back through the area. Fightful have been told that both WWE and Vince McMahon are aware that a huge blow to talent morale could and likely would happen if he were publicly involved in creative. Again, that is such a wild sentence. Vince McMahon may or may not be overseeing creative right now, or certainly having a greater input than was previously reported, but everyone across the board, including Vince himself, is aware that it could be a major blow to the morale of the entire locker room, i.e. not many of the talents want him there. It should also be noted that there is no smoking gun, that Vince is indeed involved. There's not one thing that people can point to and say, that's definite proof. There's just a general feeling, as I mentioned. Last minute rewrites, creative that's been laid out, changing, etc. There are also several tells that indicate he is not involved, the lack of constant rematches and talent that he didn't like being used. So there are still some things when people say, well, if Vince was involved, how come this talent's getting pushed? Or how come we're not seeing the same thing on television every single week? That's a sign. So there is a lot of ambiguity surrounding at the moment. Is he really involved? It's kind of hearsay and speculation. Now, a lot of these concerns, reportedly, according to Sean Ross Sapp, were so openly discussed that they actually ended up making their way to the AEW locker room as well, i.e. people within WWE are so concerned and speaking so loudly about it that they've spoken to friends in AEW about it, and the AEW locker room is also very aware of the situation and the concerns about McMahon's possible return, even in All Elite Wrestling. Now, what's quite interesting as well is that an industry expert has addressed the interest in a potential sale of WWE. And again, it's absolutely fascinating about this. So this was on CNBC, and it comes from David Faber. He had stated that interest in the potential sale of WWE was actually high, and that Comcast were not in the running as an interested party, as I mentioned previously. The Squawk on the Street Twitter account has now shared a video of Faber's insights, with the expert saying, quotes, "From what I'm hearing, at least from people familiar with the situation, is it's shaping up to be a pretty good sale process. Some people are saying it's pretty hot and heavy, and those who were somewhat doubtful that you'd get to a sale at the end seem less so." Basically saying those that were skeptical, they're less skeptical right now. Does that mean that something gets done here? Unclear. Who's participating? Well, we can all take our various guesses. Faber would talk about the interest from Endeavor, private equity in partnership with well-known names in the sport. He would say that Liberty has an interest and the Saudi PIF. Quote, "Something has led to at least to a number of people close to this to indicate to me that it's not just live, but it's going quite well." A key here, though, remains McMahon's real willingness to sell. So, again, he's basically saying that It is ongoing, and it's maybe more along in the process than people thought, and there are interested parties. The interesting one when it comes to Endeavor is that they previously, on their quarterly earnings call, kind of ruled it out, saying they weren't looking to take on more debt. However, the speculation from Faber there on CNBC is that maybe they could team up with some other people, some other private equity firms to stump up the cash. Remember, again, this is a $9 billion asking price reportedly by McMahon, but we should get a lot more movement in that after WrestleMania has come and gone this week. Now, speaking of WrestleMania, one person's road to WrestleMania who's been incredibly diverted and up and down is Brock Lesnar. And according to a new report from WrestleVote shared with Give Me Sport, Brock Lesnar does not have heat with Triple H or vice versa. Per the report, there is no heat between Triple H and Brock Lesnar after Lesnar reportedly declined to a proposed match against Bray Wyatt for WrestleMania 39. Not only that, but the report goes on to state that there are no hard feelings between Lesnar and Wyatt either. Also, the match wasn't turned down due to any sort of personal issue between Brock Lesnar and Bray Wyatt, with WrestleVotes quoted as saying, Brock definitely did turn it down. I don't think it's a personal issue between the two. There's no heat, but I don't know why Brock didn't want to do it. But as of the SmackDown before Elimination Chamber, it was the plan, but Brock said no, and he's allowed to do that. Now, the complete announcements regarding when Brock Lesnar is going to have his WrestleMania match against Amos is not out right now. They had the weigh-in this past Monday night on Raw, in which Brock Lesnar once again backed off the Nigerian giant. Bray Wyatt at one point was scheduled to face Bobby Lashley. However, after the match began building, it appears to have been abandoned, with reports Wyatt is dealing with an illness. There was a picture of Wyatt in an airport, seemingly traveling to WrestleMania. Again, I don't want to go too much into that. I feel really uncomfortable talking about people being pictured at airports and all that kind of stuff. So Wyatt still could be in town for WrestleMania. We don't really know, again, his status at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see. Now, when it comes to WrestleMania, Logan Paul, of course, is set to feature in a headline match against Seth freaking Rollins. But what's quite interesting is actually, as he's set for his major match at WrestleMania 39, Logan Paul has spoken about the upcoming event on his podcast, including revealing some quite big contract details himself. On his Impulsive podcast, Logan Paul notes that his one-year contract with WWE is up after WrestleMania 39. Paul said, quote, "My contract ends this WrestleMania. My rookie year is about to be up. A good rookie year." Paul and his co-host went on to joke about contract renewals and needing to get some of that money, referencing all this kind of stuff regarding money. Logan noted that WWE had reached out to him to clear up any misconception regarding a recent guest on his aforementioned podcast. You remember that person? Was it Lele Pons? I think her name, saying, "Oh, I got offered $20 million to work for WWE," and everyone went, "No. No, that didn't happen." But the key story there is that Logan Paul, indeed, his contract seemingly could be up after WrestleMania. The expectation is that he'd probably stick around and maybe re-sign, or they'll work something out. But indeed, his contract is up after the showcase of the Immortals. Roxanne Perez, let's talk about NXT. Of course, that taking place at WrestleMania weekend as well. NXT Stand and Deliver. Roxanne Perez appeared on the show last night. NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez. She hasn't been stripped of the championship. Shown having a meeting with Shawn Michaels, she noted that she has been cleared by the WWE medical team to compete and wanted to compete in the NXT Women's Championship ladder match at Stand and Deliver. In a passionate discussion regarding Perez's anxiety, Michaels felt that she wasn't ready. However, Perez pleaded her case continually. Shawn Michaels demanded tests, a chat with doctors, and commanded Roxanne to obtain follow-ups and stuff like that before finally giving in to her pleas, telling her she deserved the right to defend her championship. She was going to be allowed in the ladder match at Stand and Deliver. This means Perez will now defend her NXT Women's Championship in a 6-way ladder match at Stand and Deliver against Tiffany Stratton, Gigi Dolan, Lyra Valkyria, Zoe Stark, and Indy Hartwell. Now, the original direction had been Perez versus Stratton in a singles match, but there was a legitimate issue that WWE had concerns about, and Perez had to be written off television on March 7. The collapse angle on that show, which ended with Perez being taken out in an ambulance, was of course a storyline, but it was done as a cover story for her being out due to a real-life issue. Plans were then changed to the multi-woman ladder match in case Perez wasn't back in time for Stand and Deliver, so a new or maybe an interim champion would have been crowned, and then Perez would have faced that person to decide the real champion when she was back. There's still no word on exactly what the real issue was, but it was reported recently that she was cleared and ready to return, and that's exactly what happened last night. So there's no interim temporary champion necessary. It'll just be Perez now defending the title in a ladder match. So Roxanne Perez is back, she's medically cleared, and she's going to be competing in a ladder match at Stand and Deliver. And speaking of title belts, there's been a lot of speculation, hasn't there, about a new WWE title belt coming soon, and more has potentially been revealed about the new WWE Championship belt in the work as WrestleMania 39 rapidly approaches. WWE are reportedly set to introduce a new championship bout, with the design already having been approved. Now, a WWE belt historian on Twitter weighed in with their intel, saying, quote, "Since I'm being asked, I haven't heard anything about a recent new WWE bout. Early 2022, I heard the Big Gold was pitched as a Universal replacement and Vince wanted a new unified bout at WrestleMania 40. I haven't heard anything in a very long time, but it could be that I'm out of the loop." According to Give Me Sport, WrestleVotes has confirmed the plans, indicating that the bout is not only approved but ready to go. He said, they said, quote, "There is a new bout. I don't know for sure if it's getting a new name. I don't know if it's one of the titles that is going away, but there's a new bout that WWE had made and the decision makers have approved. Like if they wanted to introduce it on TV tomorrow, they could. The boxes are checked." And indeed, that was Bout Van Dam that was saying that he hadn't really heard anything, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't been made or hasn't been created or anything like that. When is Alexa Bliss going to return? Well, she did say she was going to be in town for WrestleMania. She was going to be at SoFi Stadium. She hasn't appeared since the Royal Rumble in January. She was involved with that storyline with Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy prior to her absence. Alexa was revealed as a performer on the current season of The Masked Singer on Fox, as well as revealing that she recently underwent treatment for skin cancer. Speaking to Behind the Velvet Rope, Alexa spoke about her absence, noting that the company knew ahead of time she was taking time off after the Rumble. She said, quote, "It's funny how you take time to do one thing and everyone thinks you just left. Yes, calm down. It wasn't like a dismissive, they know where to find me. It was reassuring, guys, they know where to find me. They know I'm doing The Masked Singer, calm down. It's just so funny how people jump to conclusions on everything. You just have to let things play out and you have to see what's going on. There is always something going on, especially in WWE. You always have to expect the unexpected." And then when she was asked if she was going to be returning soon, maybe at WrestleMania, she said, quote, "I would assume so. I've been working up a little something. We'll see. WrestleMania is coming up. Who knows what's going to happen?" So, by all accounts, according to Alexa, that was always the plan. No hiatus. That was always the plan. Now, Goldberg is a free agent, but he says he wants a retirement match. And could we now know where his retirement match is going to take place? This is absolutely fascinating. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, one such pitch for a retirement match to Goldberg was actually a booking from a company in Israel. In a new update from Fightful Select, the pitch from the Israeli company to Goldberg would have seen him wrestle a match there. Goldberg has previously stated that he would be open to a retirement match in the country. It's not really been said if he's accepted it or he hasn't accepted it or anything like that. But indeed, Goldberg did get pitched a retirement match in the country of Israel. Now, switching gears back to NXT last night, Johnny Gargano and Grayson Waller had the final build before their match at Stand and Deliver this coming weekend. Grayson Waller came to the ring to address the challenge from Johnny Gargano to face him in an unsanctioned match, thereby eliminating any rules or restrictions for the bout. While he noted he accepted the challenge as he signed the contract held by commentator Vic Joseph, he then got on the mic to address Gargano directly. However, mid-promo, notably after Johnny Gargano's music hit, the camera was filming Waller appeared to be set down. As the view cut to a different camera, it was revealed that Gargano had been in the ring the entire time, disguised as a camera operator, and took his opportunity to strike, kicking off a big brawl with Grayson Waller to end last night's NXT. The developmental brand looks ahead to WrestleMania Saturday, so Gargano versus Waller is confirmed to be an unsanctioned match this coming weekend. Of course, Rey Mysterio is going to make history this weekend, entering the 2023 Hall of Fame class. He's also going to be wrestling his son, Dominic Mysterio. And in a new interview ahead of his Hall of Fame induction, Rey Mysterio has shared his real thoughts on his son Dominic's character and how long he expected to keep wrestling. The currently 48-year-old Rey Mysterio said, quote, "I've always had this number in mind and it just kept getting higher and higher every single time just because of how great my body has been feeling and overall how since my schedule slimmed down, I feel like this energetic person that loves to go in there and perform on a once-a-week basis. Just brings out a different type of energy. But I had 50 was the number that I said. I cannot and don't think I will go past it, but to be able to be inducted and given such a prestige honor of being part of the Hall of Fame, it's like the ultimate in your career. You always think that hoping one day when you retire, the offer is presented to you, but here it is, you know, And I'm in somewhat of the peak of my career, maybe because I still feel great. I feel like I can compete on the level of other superstars, but overall, it's just a dream come true. So Mysterio saying that maybe he's looking at 50 for the time to retire as an in-ring performer. Now, Carmella has kind of disappeared, hasn't she, in the last couple of weeks after recently returning to WWE TV. And in an update, Sean Ross Sapp has provided some news on Carmella's absence. Carmella hasn't been on Raw lately and was pulled from recent live events, but she will be around this week. A WWE source has indicated to Fightful earlier this week that Carmella had been sidelined but didn't indicate as to why. When Fightful asked about the unsubstantiated rumors that had circulated about her having heat, they were dismissed as ridiculous by WWE sources. As of Tuesday, Carmella was slated to be in Los Angeles all throughout WrestleMania week. She's currently slated for a Make-A-Wish event and a Be a Star rally, and Fightful have since been told that she, Lashley, and Io Sky were at the Dodgers-Angels game too. So there isn't any heat or anything like that, but she is sidelined for what? We still don't know. A few WrestleMania notes and tidbits here as well. With both nights of WrestleMania 39 set to take place this weekend, we're actually yet to find out what the official schedule is going to be. We know some matches. WWE has officially announced that John Cena facing Austin Theory is going to kick off WrestleMania weekend. We also know Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins is going to take place for night 1. We also know that night 2 is going to feature the Undisputed Universal Championship main event between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. As we get closer to the event, we are set to find out which matches take place on which night sooner rather than later. Per PW Insider, WWE has prepared an announcement that will feature an official rundown of which matches will take place on which nights. The announcement is expected to be rolled out over the coming days. The company does not plan on keeping the lineups a mystery in advance. So again, we will find out fairly soon about what days the matches are going to be on. Whether it comes to the main event, I'm not sure if they're going to actually show the lineup, the order, or just which matches are going to take place on which day. So keep an eye out when it comes to that. As far as the other things that have been announced as well, Bianca Belair has announced that she's going to have a sentimental entrance plan for this year's show. Again, what that's going to look like, I don't know. She said in an interview on the In The Click podcast that, you know, that's what's exciting about WrestleMania. It's not just the matches. Everyone's thinking about the gear and the entrance, and she's going to have a sentimental entrance as well. What that's going to be, we'll have to wait and see. And finally, a superstar DJ and Los Angeles native has confirmed that he is performing at WrestleMania 39 in a video featuring The Miz. Valentino Khan became the first DJ to perform at SummerSlam in 2021 and is set to repeat the feat by being the first DJ to deliver a live performance at WrestleMania. The Platinum Selling DJ confirmed the news on Twitter in a video featuring The Miz as the pair compared just how Hollywood they both are. So the tweet also says April 1st and 2nd, so maybe it's going to be both nights. I don't know. But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.